I'm Jon Richardson, stand-up comedian, team captain on 8 out of 10 Cats, and borderline obsessive-compulsive.
Oh, God.
I'm at a junction where the decisions I'm making now will affect me for the rest of my life.
Last year I lived with 2 mates, rented house, kicked a football in the garden, drank beer, went to the pub.
But then, at the age of 31, I met my girlfriend Lucy.
Now I have a mortgage on a semi-detached house in the suburbs, and I've been with my girlfriend a year. I don't know if that is growing up or just falling into the trap of doing what everyone else is doing.
So to get to grips with my new life, I'm going on a month-long road trip with my best friend and former housemate Matt.
Hey!
To find out about the 3 most important aspects of being a grown-up. Relationships.
I can't picture marriage without picturing divorce.
Children.
Shut that fucking thing up, will you?
And money.
If you've got more than £1 million in the bank, you're an arsehole. Wow. I'm convinced that there are people across the country who can show me different ways of being an adult and being a happy adult so that I can be sure that the path I'm on is the right one.
Can 1 month in a camper van make a man out of this boy?
Put your towel in first, and then if anything leaks, it absorbs into the towel. The very first time I met Matt, I thought he might have been a bit of a dick.
He struggles with, or has struggled with, finding happiness on a consistent level. It's a polite way of saying he's a grumpy bastard.
I'd say he probably knows me better than anyone else. I've worked with him a lot. I've lived with him.
And now he lives with Lucy. We occasionally sort of get the odd night out here and there, but this is like a month on the road. He can't escape. He can't go home. You know, I'm gonna have him to myself for a month, and I'm gonna drive him mad.
I'm not too worried about the emotional side of it. I think we'll get on. My concerns are all physical. He has no boundaries, Matt.
He's allergic to human contact.
He's very grabby and touchy.
I'm probably a little too tactile at times. No idea how that got in there. Just in case.
This is brilliant, this. Toothbrush head cover like that. Just click it right in there, in case I need to go wee-wee in the middle of the night.
Took an airwick for John.
I want to be able to plan the rest of my life as neatly as I can pack a suitcase. I want to be able to put everything in the right place. And at the end of this month, I've had a lovely trip with Matt and come back and say categorically, these are the decisions I'm going to make, and I will be the happiest person I can be when I'm 70. Because otherwise, what is the point?
Whilst I've been focusing on the emotional part of the journey we'll be going on, I always knew that leaving Matt to organise transport and accommodation could have been a mistake.
Here she comes. Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. Oh, calm down, you bastard. I told you to get one of the new ones.
This is as new as I could get, mate.
Right, let's go. Oh. Stalled it. Oh, rolling forward. Great start, this, mate. Jesus. Oosh. Man, that truck, turn! Oh, this could be the last thing I ever do.
I've got 1 week to confront my scepticism about relationships and to challenge my marriage hang-ups. Otherwise, Lucy is going to run for the hills. We're going to meet people who contest the norms when it comes to marriage. And we're off to a wedding, the ultimate display of love and commitment. And I've got secret plans for my single mate, Matt. We're meeting one of the country's leading matchmakers in a bid to find him a perfect partner. Can we have our happily ever afters?
Couples who are together all their lives run out of steam. How many times do you see them, like, pinching each other's arse and giggling, like, fucking high-fiving each other? They stare at each other. You see them at dinner, like, don't you fuck... There's a pizza there now. I'm going to look at this for 10 minutes, because it's just more interesting than you are. There's something new on this pizza. Do you remember something new? That was 50 fucking years ago. I'm just going to slowly eat away at this the way you've eaten away at my happiness.
Our first stop is in the seaside town of Bournemouth to meet Chris and Margaret, who've been married for 54 years. As I think most people can't possibly be happily married for a lifetime, I want to find out if they are still happy or just still together.
That's really cool that they've been married that amount of time. And it, for me, is the sort of relationship I want.
People are in prison 54 years. It doesn't mean it's because they're happy there.
Fucking hell!
Hello, John. Hello, how are you? Nice to meet you. My last tour, I used to say to the audience, give us a cheer if you're in love. And people would cheer, and then I would say, it's not going to last. It was quite a cynical opening, but I don't know many couples like yourselves who've been together since the very beginning who are as happy now as they were then.
I wouldn't say we never have a little tiff, because clearly we do, but making up so good.
Now I've met someone that I want to be with, I can't shake off that sort of anxiety that what if it doesn't work out, and what if I end up making her unhappy?
My advice is go for it. If you really think she is the one you want, go for it. This is our wedding day.
Wow.
And that was in the Dominican 4 years ago on our 50th.
Amazing. Wow.
Considering the average duration of a marriage is 32 years, and Chris and Margaret are on their way to doubling that, they are clearly the exception to the rule. The major hurdle Lucy and I will face to future happiness is how difficult I am to live with. Yorkshire couple Claire and David are happily married and attribute the happy part to the fact that they have never lived together.
That is not a functioning relationship.
I think for some people it might be the ideal solution.
There's a lack of trust.
Or increased trust, surely. I tell you what, if they don't like being together, we could swap them this camper van and bring that marriage down in a week.
Fuck.
You have to rev more on a hill start.
I am revving plenty.
Hiya,
David.
John.
John.
This is Matt.
Hiya, Matt.
Nice to meet you.
Come on in.
Thank you.
So this is your house, David?
Yeah, this is my house.
And you're married,
Yep.
but it's not the marriage house.
It's definitely not a marital home. No. This is my space.
And you've got children as well?
Claire's got 3 older children, and then we've got a 5.5-year-old little boy together. The kids live with the mum.
OK.
How long have you been married?
12 months now, but we've been together 13 years.
13 years?
Yeah.
And you've never lived together?
Nope. I don't think it'll work for us.
And that's a mutual feeling?
Yeah, definitely. I think people get the impression that it's all me and I want my own, you know, it's the bloke wants his own space. I'll tell you a little story. Like, a couple of Christmases ago, I got down on one knee Christmas Day in front of Claire's family and asked her to marry me. And the first words out of Claire's mouth were, as long as we don't have to live together.
Doesn't that break your heart?
No.
So would you say, in general, it would be better for couples to live apart?
Claire's been married twice before.
Right.
And they both failed. I've been married once before and it's failed.
Yeah.
And we don't feel like we've got that pressure. We only got married last year, went on honeymoon last week. When we got to the, it's going to sound weird, when we got to the hotel, big queen-size bed in the Marriott Marquis Hotel in New York, overlooking Times Square.
Wow.
I slept on a sofa.
You what?
Yeah, I slept on a sofa.
You what? I wasn't thought I'd misheard. You didn't even share a bed when you went on honeymoon?
I starfish like mad. But I think because you're so used to having that space to yourself.
Yeah, but like honeymoon is like jiggy time, isn't it? Like, if you
Trust me, right? There is no issues in the jiggy department.
Now that that's all cleared up, I want to know how this arrangement works for David's other half, Claire.
Hello. How are you?
I'm very well.
I'm John.
thank you.
So we've gone over to her house to find out.
It is on a society that says this is the way it goes.
Can I ask about the finances, how that works? The strain it might put on the relationship versus pooled resources and you could put all your money in one pot.
But we'd be financially better off if we were together, but at what cost? Having a bit more money, is that worth the added stress? I don't think it is.
Can you sometimes sense when you're getting on each other's nerves and then that's the point at which you nip back home?
I don't think it happens, does it?
No, we just have a set time each evening that we've just fallen into.
Don't you miss him when he goes? Don't you think?
Oh, no. I mean, I don't know if you got the sense from David when you were talking, he's hyper. When you've had a day of that, I just want to switch off.
If I go out for an evening, I will stop here sometimes. But it's not often, is it?
And where do you sleep?
I sleep in one of boys' beds.
I think Claire and David prove that living apart together can be the answer to a happy relationship.
I feel guilty for having been cynical.
Oh, really? I think it's... Right.
Clearly works for them.
What about you? Would you...
Absolutely not. If I'm marrying someone, I'm bloody well living with them.
She said exactly what Claire said to David. If you proposed and she said, only if I can keep my house.
So because I want to live together and I want to wake up next year. I want to cuddle you at night.
And she said, right, well, it's a no then.
I'd say you're being serious.
Yes. After a long day on the road, we're going to stop and set up camp. And it's beginning to dawn on me that perhaps the biggest challenge I'm facing is a month in a van with Matt.
Come on then, let's get nice and close.
Ah, Britain.
When it's cold out, keep your bum hot.
I'll give you 20 quid to drink all of that.
How much for that amount? Oh, that's so thick.
Nothing, more.
No, nothing for that. How much for that? Monetary value. How much?
A quid.
You got hold of this.
That was good, that. Enjoyed that. Why have we never done this before?
Because you never wanted to go away with me.
Ah, yes. I remember. I'm on a month-long road trip with my best mate Matt, trying to find out how to be a happy grown-up. By the end of the first week, I want to challenge my preconception that all relationships turn sour over time. So, for the next leg of our trip, we're meeting people who found ways of keeping things interesting in the long term. Like swingers. 1.6 million people in this country go swinging regularly. 1.6 million, that's a lot, isn't it? So you can either think, well, there's a lot of weirdos in this country, or you can think, well, there must be something in that. The theory of swinging is that if you let your partner go off with someone else and they come back, then you know that your relationship exists on a level beyond anything physical and that you represent something intellectually that they can never get from anyone else, and that actually reinforces your relationship rather than weakens it. And I believe that. I believe that. And I had to confront, if my girlfriend ever said to me, John, I think we should do this, would I be strong enough and confident enough to do it? And I've concluded I'd kill her with a spade. Prudish is my middle name, but I pronounce it Joel. So when Matt told me he had a gig tonight and I was going to have to go to a swingers party on my own, I was not best pleased. I'm not happy about this.
What is your view on swinging?
Well, I think it's ridiculous. I think it's one of the tenets of a relationship that you pledge yourself to one person, and if you can't be bothered, don't be in a relationship.
Here we are, Peaches. Pull in here, shall I? I think it's that one over there. Look at your gormless little face. You're so scared. It's like your first day of school. You're going to find there's going to be big boys there. Very big boys. Play safely now. You got your Johnnies. Oh, dear.
The idea that people are going to shag in there tonight, people are going to have sex in that house who've never met each other, who are married, is a bit much. It's a bit much for me. Richard and Janet are a couple who have been hosting monthly swinging parties at their home in Hertfordshire for the last 10 years. I've arrived early to find out more about their infamous adult parties. Hello,
Jon Richardson.
Richard.
Good afternoon, John. Very pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Welcome to
Thanks
my
for having
humble
me.
abode. Come on in.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, come in here, John, and I'll show you around. We have the biggest bed in Hertfordshire. I've had a special fitted sheet made for it, so you get up to 6 couples on there at any point in time.
Is everyone who comes here tonight going to have sex?
No. 10% of the people who come here have no sex at all, but they just love the atmosphere. Another 20% have sex only with themselves. within
Been
a
there.
couple.
That was my 20s. Oh, I see.
And the rest will mix in some way or other.
So 70% have come here to
Well,
have sex
we'll
with
end up
someone
having
else.
sex. Actually, 3 instances, people have brought their parents. I have to say it has worked, but it is exceptional.
Jesus. What? What? How would you come to bring your parents to an event like this?
I don't think I would.
No, I don't think I would.
Well, but it's like, if you've got a woman who's found a really super hairdresser, what kind of mum would say, and don't you dare try and find out where the hairdresser is? If something's good at something and it gives pleasure, you want to share it, don't you, if you're a good parent?
It's a lovely house.
This is the loft. We call it the dungeon in the sky. Dungeons are underneath buildings, but this one...
I always thought that swinging was about freeing yourself from the shackles of convention, although apparently not. I mean, this has gone up a notch. This feels like people are into quite a specific thing.
Well, I don't meet repressive people.
No.
I quite like it that way.
Well, there's one in your house at the moment.
Is there?
Yeah.
Not you.
He's the guy not touching the sex swing. Well, this is a new experience. I put my head right in it. Hello. I'm going to head to the safety of the kitchen to find Janet and ground myself with some potatoes.
A lot of the people that come of coming through word of mouth, you know, they've heard about the parties. They want to have a different experience.
Do you engage in? Yeah.
Do I join in?
Are you on the bed now?
I am not on the bed, no.
No.
No, I'm not on the bed.
How does that sit with your relationship then?
If Richard wants to, who am I to say you shouldn't?
Well, you're his partner now, aren't you? I think most people would say within a relationship.
Yeah, but I'm not a jealous partner.
I mean, that is an extraordinary level of, I almost want to say self-sacrifice. It feels so alien to me to be comfortable with that.
It is. It's a leap in your relationship with your partner. Richard and I like chalk and cheese sometimes. He likes to grow wild flowers. I prefer to go to the garden centre and buy lots of flowers.
My girlfriend's called Lucy. I can't imagine a world where I've seen her having sex with someone else in our house and then we go and buy plants at the garden centre. Because it sounds like you trust each other to such a point that what would ever drive you apart?
I think lies. If we told each other lies,
if you found out he'd been going to home base behind your back. Matt will be keen to know if I'm getting on with the swingers, so I give him a ring for an update.
Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Not bad, mate. How are you? How was it?
Well, the guests are just arriving, so there's probably about 10 or 15 knocking about at the moment. All I can say is there's a bonfire, there's a roast pig, and there's porn on a big screen. It's pretty much your fantasy.
Any of it appeals to you?
It's not for me. I enjoyed talking to Janet, and we peeled a lot of potatoes together. And if I had my choice...
What's potatoes got to do with it? Do they use them in a sex way?
No, they use them in a potato way. I mean, as a gastronomic experience, it's been an absolute delight. Richard and Janet host up to 300 people at their monthly parties. I want to speak to some of their regulars about why they keep attending. Do you have a plan for tonight, or...?
It can be anything. It can be just us two going upstairs on our own. It can be with other couples.
Do you do stuff separately?
No.
That's not enjoyable to us at all. We can't actually see much point in that.
And do you have, like, is there anything that's ever happened where one of you will say the next day, well, actually, I wasn't very comfortable with that?
Oh, yeah, that happens.
Do you mind me asking, without being lascivious, what sort of thing that is?
Yeah, we had a couple that we were with. A lady was a lot more dominant than we were, and we were split up. We were kind of in separate rooms, and that really didn't work for either of us.
Right.
We felt very disconnected from each other. Had we not talked, could have caused us problems, but...
As Jackie said, if we kept it to ourselves, then that would just... I think would just rip us apart.
Yeah.
But because we sit and talk about it, we're actually a lot more solid as a result of it.
Not everyone here tonight is part of a couple. Janet's keen for me to meet her friend and party regular Cheryl, who works front of house. So Cheryl, do you know
Janet beforehand, or you met her through this?
No, I didn't. I had... I was rather fat and I lost a lot of weight.
Well done.
And I had had sex for 12 years. And...
Wow, you beat my record.
I was really, really low and no confidence whatsoever. And I was watching, like, James Bond and that, and I was thinking, was something exciting would happen to me. So I thought, well, you know, fiddling about on the internet and stuff, and this come up, and I emailed, Richard emailed back. They came to my first party, and they boosted my confidence and everything, so they've come ever since.
Incredible first step, though, after 12 years.
It was. I came on my own, and no word of a lie. It's scary. I was absolutely petrified.
What made you make such a bold
I don't know.
I
think because my highlight of my life was going shopping once a week. That was the highlight of my life, and I wanted something really, really exciting to happen.
Did you end that 12-year drought at the first party?
No, I didn't. I ended it with Richard.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Wow, all right, bombshell. Let me deal with it.
What everybody does here, you do at home anyway.
But I've seen some kit upstairs that I haven't got in my loft, put it that way.
Yeah, I know, but you wouldn't mind them in your loft, though. I bet.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll certainly think about it. I've taken some pictures on my phone that I'll show to Lucy, and we'll be discussing the sex swing and raising and lowering table.
It's been a genuinely enlightening experience, but I'm happy for it to end now.
So, party's in full swing. I'm going to make a tactful exit. I think I've learnt a lot today, I would say that, and I've had some of my preconceptions challenged. I did learn one thing about you that you didn't tell me earlier, which was that Cheryl's drought came to an end at your... I was going to say hand, but not your hand.
You should have asked. We're extremely proud of Cheryl. I think in the time that Cheryl came to us, she was very, very different, and it's really amazing that it was Richard who put an end to that drought.
It goes with the territory. It's a tough job.
Thank you
Make
so much
some good
for having me.
decisions.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Amazing
Thank you very much.
to meet you.
Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy the rest of your party.
Send our regards
Thank
to
you
Lucy.
very much, John.
I will do. Thanks for having me.
See you both here soon.
Well, yeah. I can feel it's going up a notch every few minutes. I can leave now with some fond memories of some people and a few views challenged, and I think if I was in the house an hour longer, I would need a week of therapy.
On reflection, a night at an adult party has taught me a lot, and I didn't even have to get naked.
I mean, Richard and Janet are not what you would call a conventional couple.
No, not by a long stretch.
They really make you question what are you insecure about. And I am mostly insecure physically and sexually.
You've got a lovely body, and I bet you're a great sexer.
But they have sort of removed that.
I want to see you have sex.
Why?
It'd seem really funny, just your pale bum just sort of like sporadically hammering away. This tiny wheezing hunchback. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Give me a moment here, I've almost popped.
How do you...
I want to know what noises you make. I can't imagine you going, oh yeah, oh. And say, oh, crikey. Oh, that feels very good. Oh, that is lovely. Oh, keep rubbing that bit. Oh, not that bit.
Do you think a worry for
I'm almost ready. I'm almost ready. Brace yourself.
Jesus.
Knowing how happy Lucy has made me, I naturally want the same for my best friend Matt. He says he's quite capable and quite happy to wait for the right person, but I'm not having that. I've arranged for Matt to meet Mary, who runs an exclusive introduction agency and has matched thousands of people. Dozens of elite introduction agencies like this one charge annual fees from hundreds to tens of thousands of pounds for their coaching and matching services.
Going Down the Moon works mainly with well-educated professional people who really have no time or opportunity to meet available singles, and they don't want to do internet dating and bars.
Are you up for it?
I like the enjoyment. I like the thrill. I like the idea that you could just get on a bus and meet your new missus. Or, like, you could bump into her in Greg's, or, like, she could be the traffic warden, and you have a row, and then you end up going out together. Just the random nature of life
Nah, but that takes ages. What if you haven't got time? What if you're
I've met
older?
loads of people. I've been out with girls before.
Yeah, but you are single, so it hasn't worked, has it? I believe that had I not met Lucy, your best chance is the specifics of stuff like this. You have a good interview, someone does all the hard work for you.
I'm good at interviews, you know. I've never had a job interview where I haven't got the job, so this must be simple. If I get the interview right, then I'm going to get married. It's not like that, though, is it? That's the problem. If she turns me down, I'm like a lost cause. She's not going to turn me down, is she? She's not going to let us come all this way and go, like, you're beyond help. I'm not beyond help, am I? As a mate, it's not like I'm some sort of lost cause.
Let's go and find out. Come on.
First, we've got to talk together, and I've got to see what you're looking for and who you are, what you're up to, and I've then got to see whether we've got some possible dates already on the books, or indeed we may have to headhunt for them.
Wow.
I want you to tell me a bit about yourself. And so you're now working as a radio presenter?
Do that every Friday night, yeah, and do stand-up and writing and...
Hey, great.
Yeah.
So tell me about your friends.
Jon Richardson's a good friend of mine.
Jon Richardson.
Good mates, aren't we?
You always use my full name, don't you? I like it.
Yeah. My closest friends are men. Is that a problem?
Oh, just...
Does it reflect
curious.
badly on me?
I was wondering whether you want a sort of blokish woman, you know.
A welder.
Well, I think this all sounds fairly good. I like you,
Good.
and I would really like you to join. I think we
Okay.
might have a queue of women round the block for you.
Really? What,
Yeah.
now?
Get out there, you.
In just a few days from now, Mary hopes to have a match for this eligible bachelor, but the proof will be in the pudding on date night.
I'm slightly sceptical about the whole thing, and I wonder if she really understood me.
I don't understand you, though, and I've known you 10 years. Right, should we set off before you get too excited?
I'm halfway through a week of re-examining my view on relationships. All through my single years, I was curious about dating agencies and whether they could provide a fast track to finding a life partner. Having never had the bottle to find out for myself, I'm now bullying my best friend Matt into satisfying my curiosities. After an interview with one of the country's foremost matchmakers, Matt has now got 2 dates in just one night.
So you go in there, talk me through it. First date's Emma.
Well, let's practice now. Okay.
Oof. Too
That
much
might
too
happen.
soon, mate.
No, but you've got to do the kiss thing, haven't you? So just go... Mwah, mwah. Would you like to see? No, that's an awful start.
Yeah.
Sit down.
I'm keen to know if Mary is worth the fees she commands for her matchmaking services. Anything from £1,900 to £15,000 per person. So she and I are watching and listening to Matt's 2 dates from the back of the restaurant. Emma arrives first.
Here we go.
And it's start those stopwatches, as Mary's told Matt to keep the date to no more than 30 minutes.
Here we go, here she comes.
Hi, I'm Matt.
Emma, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Emma. Have a seat.
Thank you.
Oh, isn't she gorgeous?
It's such my first ever date. that's where this whole show
really
came
well
from.
so far.
Thank you. Well, I put my shirt on the right way round.
That's good stuff.
Oh, she's great. She's really funny.
Where are you from?
Just south of Wimbledon, just north of Kingston. You
Very
can walk along the river, get a burger, or whatever it is you like to eat. What do you like to eat?
Generally not burgers.
Really?
Generally don't eat meat and I'm gluten intolerant.
Bombshell.
I didn't know that.
Bombshell.
And then sort of very quickly went pescatarian,
So that's just
which
fish.
is just fish.
I'm allergic to fish.
I can't think how they'd ever be able to cook for each other
No.
if they ended up living together.
You've gone really far forward then there.
Yes.
I do a lot of martial arts and kind of...
Wow.
Yeah, I'm really into my kickboxing and health stuff.
He's leaning towards her a hell of a lot, showing really a certain amount of emotional neediness for approval.
I just do like treadmill and rowing machine stuff, gym stuff, and then I go in the sauna for a bit.
She likes him. Look, you see the hand.
What's this?
But that isn't because she's bored, it's because she's actually happy, because the wrists and how they're displayed will show whether she's lowering her defences and letting him come close to her.
I've always wanted to box, but I'm too scared. I think I just have to do a bit of
You'd
pad
be
work.
great at it.
I've got quite small hands for a man. Got like little stubborn...
Oh, they're touching. They just touched.
Oh, they touched. Oh, look, look, look.
What do you fancy doing some bag work?
Well, seriously, come along to the gym. It's quite a long way from here, but yeah.
Oh, of course,
we'd
it's
be
in High
more,
Wycombe,
yeah,
isn't it?
more than happy to show you some moves. It'd be good fun.
Amazing. Amazing.
Our time's up.
Yeah, OK.
Real pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
You're right, I think, to keep the date short.
Yes.
So the electricity, if they stopped
Yes.
now,
Yes.
they'd be itching to see each other again.
The time flew by.
It did. I can't
was great,
believe it's
wasn't
gone
it?
that quickly. Lovely.
Pleased to meet you.
You too.
I'd second date him.
With Emma's chair not even cold, Matt's second date cat walks through the door.
Okay. Hiya,
I'm
nice
Matt.
to meet you.
Hello.
I'm Catherine.
Nice to meet you, Catherine.
Yeah, you too.
What's that here?
Close your mouth, mate. Close your mouth. There's a good lad.
Well, my family are all Irish.
My dad's from Galway. I went to Catholic school, so a lot of...
So did I.
My mum was a nun before she had me.
Before she had
Yeah, obviously not at the time. Bloody hell. Tore the church in pieces.
She's very good as well, though, isn't she? Very easygoing and confident.
I was an altar boy as a kid and stuff like that.
I was an auto girl. I was an auto
Really?
girl.
I was on the altar, like, holding the candle, like that, and I could feel myself going. Puked everywhere. Been sick in the house of God.
Could be worse. You could have shit yourself.
It's the one thing that really makes me want to believe in God is I want to believe in an afterlife. I want to believe there's a little bit more.
Oh, awkward.
This has gone morbid.
Yeah, it's that.
Be like, would you rather be buried or cremated?
What would you do when you're dead?
He's talking at her rather than with her. That's because he's had 3 lagers. That's what happens. She's putting on a sort of, you know, you're doing OK face, but I think she's probably looking for the fire escape.
He needs to ask her a question to get off this.
I think that's what you do for a living.
I'm a singer-songwriter.
We have to talk about any of that. Talk about death instead.
I know.
I mean, everything can go wrong at a first date. It doesn't matter. You make a sort of a connection, and then you can take it to the next level because it's only a pre-date.
That's the time up, I'm afraid.
I know.
Real pleasure to meet you.
It has been fun,
I
actually.
really enjoyed it.
I don't think they wanted it to end. I think he was tight.
I think he knows. It could have been a bit different.
All the best.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
So over to Emma and Kat for some results.
He definitely put me at ease. He's lovely to talk to. Really good guy. We have a lot of things in common.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to go on a second date with Matt if he was interested in doing so. Yeah, definitely.
I would see him again. Yeah.
Well, how did it go?
I tell you what, you've done phenomenally well. Do you think, with the girls?
Oh, amazing. In terms of the people that you found, exceptional.
Most first dates go a bit wonky at some point.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you can manage to get through to a second and a third date, that's when the magic starts. Well, listen, guys, well done. And I think you're the best dating buddy anybody could have. Take care.
Speak to you
Good
soon,
luck.
Jerry.
Good
Thank
luck.
you very much.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye-bye.
As an assessment of how Mary does her job,
Yeah.
that has totally convinced me that that agency knows what it's doing.
The problem is, it almost makes you feel like a love rap.
They're liking both of them.
Yeah.
I tell you what, mate, as well, if it don't work out with the girls, I reckon Mary's got a real thing for you. She really likes you.
Judging by tonight, I'm satisfied that professional intervention can be a fast track to a perfect match, even allowing for some unconventional chat about allergies and afterlives. We're off to sunny South Wales, our final destination of the week. We're going to meet a couple who, after tomorrow, will have racked up 6 marriages between them.
I'm familiar with Port Talbot, you know, I used to work here a bit.
Yeah.
And,
I thought we were going to tip over there.
As someone who's uncomfortable with the idea of failure, I'm unsure enough about marriage when half of them end with divorce. So I want to know why some people keep heading back down the aisle.
In 2012, there were 13 divorces an hour. And most marriages that fail, 50% of those end in the first 10 years. I'm at an age now where I go on about 2 stag do's a year. Around Europe, of course, I have to fly to Berlin to celebrate people being happier than I am. And then some of the stag do's I'm on, I'm sort of thinking, we're going to have to do this again in 10 years. And I'm not going to be able to say anything. I'm not going to say, oh, do you know what this reminds me of? The last time we did this.
We're going to meet a chap called Alan, who's marrying for the second time. But his bride-to-be, Wendy, this is her fourth.
If it's not forever, then what is the point of it? I mean, you take your vows, don't you? And the vows are in sickness and in health, for richer, for poorer, for a bit.
We're going to go paddleboarding.
What's that?
It's almost like a gondola meets a surfboard.
Oh, that sounds very difficult.
But they're into, like, water sports. Don't... There they are, look. They're all wearing wetsuits.
They are wearing wetsuits. Hello there. Hello, Alan.
Alan, groom, nice to meet you.
Yeah. I'm Andy. Hi. Hello, Andy. How warm is it out there? Because you're all wearing wetsuits. It's like the Med.
OK, well, I'm up for it. I've
have a paddle, see what you think.
OK.
Shall we let's test it out?
Shall we?
Yeah. I'll see you down there, lads. Alan was just saying that I'm the best he's ever seen.
That's humiliating. We thought I was going to be good at it.
Well, that was fun. How are you feeling about tomorrow?
Excited, a little bit nervous, but yeah, ready to go.
And we haven't met Wendy yet. Tell me about Wendy.
Her motto, and one of the things that drew me to her, is try everything twice at least.
Like getting married?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, she's on number 4. She's trying to... I joked to the registrar she was trying to catch up with Liz Taylor.
How do you feel then about marrying someone who's been married 3 times before?
I know, it's a gamble, but you've got to take gambles in life. You can't not do something just because you think it may not work out. You just go for it.
I totally agree.
Is there anything we need to know for the wedding then? Turn up in a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah. Beachwear, please.
Beachwear.
Enjoy yourself.
That sounds all right. It's been amazing.
That's awesome.
Good luck.
Cheers,
I'll see you
fellas.
tomorrow.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers, bud.
Thanks
Have a
very
good
much.
afternoon.
Thank
See
you.
you tomorrow.
Cheers.
Take care. He seems to be saying, live for the moment, you only live once and all that. And you can sell that 2 ways. You can say you only live once, so if you think something will make you happy, do it. Or you can say, you only live once, so try not to get things wrong.
If you're going to have a party to celebrate anything, what better thing to celebrate than the love of 2 people?
Leeds United winning the Champions League.
That's not going to happen, John. You're never going to have that party.
With the wedding taking place in this hotel, Matt and I are faced with the difficult decision of whether to stay in the van or, well, it's an easy decision, we decide to stay in the hotel. Matt and I are off to bed, but will tomorrow's big day put to bed some of my concerns about getting married? It's almost the end of our week looking at relationships and marriage, and the icing on the cake is Wendy and Alan's wedding later today. But I'm still worried that this beach-themed wedding isn't being taken seriously enough.
Do you have any foreboding about watching someone get married for the 4th time?
But that doesn't invalidate it. That doesn't say it's not love or indeed that it's going to last.
It's too big to do multiple times.
You have to understand that people change, John.
I can't picture marriage without picturing divorce. I think I love Lucy as much as I could love anyone, but if that goes badly, how can you trust in love for the rest of your life?
One day, I mean, maybe not too distant future, this could be your wedding day.
I can't picture it. Couldn't we afford an organ?
Does she push you to think about it?
Yeah, she does, and I stop her talking about it.
So what sort of stuff does she say? Oh, you know when we get married? And you
Yeah.
go, let me stop you there.
I say, if we get married.
Oh, you cold old cat. Oh, that breaks my heart. If.
Yeah.
1,000 times if.
Knocking the coffee cup out of her hand.
You look all right, give us a twirl. You look like a Japanese waitress.
You look like a British sex tourist.
Yeah, well, let's party.
My God, does this window open wider? Because I'm jumping. The truth is, no one can hurt you as much as someone you love. If you don't ever love anyone, then you'll be fine. You don't let your guard down. My girlfriend said the most hurtful thing anyone has ever said to me. I was having some chest pain as a result of quite a big dinner. I
knew that's what it was. She knew that's what it was. I'd eaten too much food. But I just wanted someone to pretend, just for a bit, that I might be having a heart attack. So a little bit of sympathy. I just wanted to say, you might be dying, John. And I, as someone who loves you, I'm upset by this. What I didn't want to hear is, well, John, maybe you're just too old to eat pickled onions the way you used to. Too old for pickled onions. That's the sort of shit people get divorced over.
Having met Alan yesterday, I'm off to meet Wendy, who is putting the final touches to the venue of her 4th wedding. And you know what they say, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Again, again, and again.
Hey, Wendy.
Yes.
I'm John.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Happy wedding day. How you feeling?
I'm fine. If I stop, I feel yuck.
Oh, well, let's carry on then. What can I do?
Can you unwrap the glasses, please?
Unwrap the glitter glasses. Yeah. So was there a spark of romance the first time you met him?
When we got together, it was instant in love.
After the love bit came, did the marriage bit come?
He asked me within 2 weeks.
2 weeks of what?
Of dating.
And you said yes?
I said yes, but he had to wait 2 years before I would allow him to put a ring on my finger.
What made you put that 2-year time limit in?
Because I had to get a divorce.
Do you feel like marriage is a key part of your relationship, or would you perhaps have been happy to live together for a bit longer and then...
I love the commitment of being married.
You've done it before. How do you feel about those marriages? Would you say you regret any of them?
Everything that I've done in life made me the person that Alan has fallen in love with. That's
right.
Not straight.
Sorry. I'm absolutely convinced that they love each other, absolutely, and they want to get married. But you cannot get beyond the fact that she must have thought that 3 times before. They both have this. You've only got one life. Live it. So my view is completely the opposite. My view is you've only got one life, so let's limit the misery and the, the damage.
Would you all now please be upstanding for the arrival of the bride? I give you this ring.
I give you this ring.
As a symbol of our marriage.
With love and affection.
Wear it always.
And think of me.
I will be there for you.
Now and forever.
It is now with the greatest of pleasure that I declare you to be husband and wife. My congratulations, Mrs. Jenkins.
Thank you.
They're clearly very well suited. They almost look like they could be related, and I mean that in a good way. You know, sometimes people end up with people that look the same. Do you know what I mean?
I think the dress is most amazingly beautiful. It was a mess that was... a mess? Oh, God.
Surely at this point, Wendy and Alan's nearest and dearest will want to know what the Japanese waitress and her sex tourist husband have made of all this.
From the minute Alan said you won't need a wetsuit to go in the sea here, I heard him down as a bullshitter, I'm not going to lie to you. But the minute he talked about Wendy, his eyes lit up, and it's been an inspiration to see the two of you talk about each other. So thanks for having us, and good luck for the rest of your marriage. Thank you very much. I feel really bad for ever being cynical about him.
That's good. I'm glad you feel bad. This is all part of you learning.
Yeah. I'm not going totally with that one life shit. That's too much. But within that, they've done the right thing today.
Playing devil's advocate, is there perhaps a possibility that you've just been caught up in all the emotion of this?
I have been caught up in the emotion, but then I sort of think that's a good thing.
I can't believe you're the one saying this. I can't believe that you're the one sat here saying...
Tomorrow's another day, isn't it? Tomorrow I'll be...
Oh, my God, go on, keep going.
No, I mean, tomorrow I'll be an arsehole again. Yeah. It's been a lovely day, and I'm glad we shared it together.
For our relationship.
To our future.
Oh, it always freaks me out when you do it back.
After a romantic weekend in Port Talbot with Matt, my thoughts turned to my other half, Lucy.
It's odd when we met, you sort of, You obviously get that sort of instant spark of romance and all that. But then also, with me and Lucy, we were very comfortable together very early.
Yeah, it's nice. You're really lucky.
I am very lucky. If I'd have read my own story, if I'd have read that I met someone and within a couple of dates we were going out and then we went on holiday together and then she moved in a few months later, I would have scoffed at it. I would have made this noise.
That was like a dog being sick.
But now I'm living it.
I set off 7 days ago to challenge my view that there's no such thing as happily ever after. Perhaps it's time to pull over and take stock of it all.
We've met some lovely people, haven't we?
Met some absolutely fascinating people who've given us access to some very private moments.
If I'm honest, if you'd have said the things that we were going to do at the beginning, if you'd said we were going to meet all these different people, I would have said most of these people are just pretending to be happy. And actually, looking across the board, like all of them, I genuinely believe are really happy. Fundamentally, I've sort of come back feeling that me and Lucy will probably get married. Which, in terms of like the view I've held all my life, never mind over the past week, is fucking enormous.
It's amazing to hear you say that.
It's almost like U-turn isn't enough.
You're going to get married.
Maybe.
You're at your wedding.
She might say no.
She'll definitely say yes. She'll definitely say yes.
I mean, you'll be the first to know.
Will I? Will I?
From my point of view, there'll be a follow-up question for you.
Do you reckon?
Lucy and I are getting married sometime next year. Can you just tell me what dates you're out of the country?
Next time, I'll be back on the road to explore my attitude to money, meeting those who have it.
Oh my God. Cheers.
Those who don't.
There's all kinds of ways you find out you can live without money.
And those who've given it all away.
How long did you live here?
20 years.
Do you miss it?
No.
And next week that starts slightly later at 10:35. Now this Thursday, on the day of Scotland's biggest decision in living memory, possibly one of the last programmes you'll see while the UK is still the UK, catch Scotland in a Day at 10. Next tonight, it's the American Football Show.